Is there truly no place for Jeff in this game? I have 70 hours on Jeff. I'd like to say I'm pretty decent at him, and I often have most or second most healings in games for comp and kit play. I focus tanks and can deal with divers if they decide to harass the backline and peel for my other support. But because he doesn't have a traditional support ult, I'm told all the time that I'm throwing when I pick him, even in quick play, even if I keep people alive and use my ult strategically. Guys, we need to talk about Jeff. I think currently, right now in the game, Jeff is probably the most hated character in the entire game, which is pretty sad because Jeff is also the most cutest character in Marvel Rivals. That goes without a saying. And Jeff has one of the most adorable skins in the entire game. It's pretty sad that such an adorable, such a nice little fish boy is getting so much hate. And in season 0, there were two kinds of people who love Jeff, people who hated Jeff just because his ult was annoying. Now people hate Jeff because he is not meta anymore. And I think the hate Jeff is getting right now is far more than the amount of hate he was getting in season 0. I think the season 0 hate was more like, sort of a fun type of hate, a comical hate. But right now, it's a much more serious hate. And if you pick Jeff in any ranked game, people automatically assume now that you are throwing, and they will go to the extent of picking troll heroes. They will go 3 DPS, 4 DPS, right? They'll not pick a second healer, and they will absolutely throw the game. In some cases, they will even report you for picking Jeff. I think the situation is completely fucked up, and if Marvel Rival devs don't act upon this right now, Jeff is gonna be like literally unplayable and no one is gonna pick him, right? So let's take a look at what this guy is saying. This guy apparently whatever he's saying, I think I completely agree with this guy. Okay, Jeff's ult is inherently worse than the other support ults in the game because most of the other ults are just press Q, team no die. I have like 40 hours or something on Jeff. I love playing him. It's basically just power wash sim, and I love that. I do think they should ramp up the healing he gives to allies from his ult, and an option for allies to jump out. This would add a lot of options for teammates as opposed to, oh, Jeff ate me, I'm dead now because he got killed and we all were huddled in a nice group for the other team. Picture you're playing as Thing, your Jeff eats you, you see that you're back at full HP, have max shield, so you jump out and ult as soon as you're falling down to confuse the shit out of enemies. It would be fun, cool, and actually useful. That would be kind of interesting. I don't really understand why Jeff's ultimate is the only ultimate where if you're eaten by a teammate, you have literally no option to do anything. Just look at the other team ups. They could have taken this from the team ups, right? When you're playing Wolverine and Hulk can pick you up, but you also have an option. As Wolverine, you can just get off of Hulk. If you think that Hulk is trolling you, you can just get off and you can go on your way. Look at Torch and the Thing team up, right? Thing can disengage anytime. But with Jeff's ult, what happens is Jeff eats your team, and then your team has literally zero options in their hands, and they're completely at the mercy of the Jeff. The Jeff can either spit them out at the proper location where they save, or the Jeff can just spit them towards the enemy where they straight up die, or the Jeff can take them and jump into a pit and everybody dies. Okay, the entire control is in hands of Jeff, and I think this is why so many people have trust issues with Jeff. Because you may be pulling off a really crazy combo. Let's say you're popping off on an ult, right? You're doing really well, and just before you are about to get, let's say, a double kill, triple kill, your team Jeff decides to ult, and then he just eats you, and your combo is completely messed up. Now, wherever he throws you, you're at the mercy of the Jeff. If he throws you at a very wrong place, your combo is completely screwed up. A good example of this is Winter Soldier, right? Winter Soldier, once his combo starts going, he can literally wipe out the whole team. And let's say you kill 2 people and then your team Jeff eats you. That's probably one of the worst situations that can happen. And I can give you this example because this has happened to me. Okay, I was playing Winter Soldier and our Jeff actually ate me, right? And then he threw me straight at the enemy backline. And I got ganged up by 2-3 enemies and I was completely killed. Okay, so this has happened to me. Literally, one of the easiest solutions for this would be that your teammates can just come out of your ult. You know what would be even better? It would be even better if Jeff does not eat his teammates. When he uses his ult under his teammates get that heal, but they don't get eaten by Jeff. That would be so cool, right? That would be like an instant heal, okay? A heal that instantly maxes out the HP of everyone. So it should be a pretty strong heal. Otherwise, it will not be able to compete with heals like Luna or let's say Cloak Dagger, right? It should max out the HP of everyone. That's over that ultimate, and then he just only eats the enemies. That will also kind of work. But currently, the situation right now is Marvel Rivals has absolutely fucked up Jeff, and Marvel Rivals has kind of ruined the whole balance of the game due to supports. Okay, this game has become such that you can play with one DPS, you can play with one tank, but you cannot play a single game without two supports. Supports have become so essential in this game right now, and what you're playing rank games right now, it feels more like, you're playing heal simulator. You're not playing a PvP game where you're killing the other people. You're just trying to out-heal the enemy team and survive. And at the end of the day, the team with more heals wins. It's become a healing simulator game, and whichever team gets to kill the enemy team's healers fast, or whichever team does not have defensive heal outs in time, that team loses. The amount of contribution you do as a tank, the amount of contribution you do as a DPS literally pales in comparison to the amount of work you're putting as a support. Support players are literally carrying every single game right now, and this is not a good thing. This is creating one role that's extremely OP, that's like literally determining every other game, and the other roles like vanguards, DPS, they don't feel that good. They just feel like they're there. Okay, they are replaceable. They cannot be there, but they are not really important. And supports are the most important. And we are seeing people are picking 3 supports right now because supports are so important. They're carrying every single game. And in this sort of game, you have supports like Luna, you have supports like Cloak Dagger who are so broken, who are so stupid. You click one Q on Luna, your team does not die for 20 seconds. What sort of broken shit is that? The problem is, I think Marvel Rivals devs should not buff Jeff. Marvel Rivals devs should not buff Jeff, because what's that gonna happen is, if they do that, they're just going to make support an even more broken role, right? I don't have anything against support players. I just feel like support is extremely broken right now, and support is like directing the flow of games. So if they buff other supports, it's just going to make supports even more OP, even more like important for the game. And then what's gonna happen is maybe 3 supports will just become staple. Okay, any team with more heals will just win. I think that's not the way Marvel Rivals devs should be going about this. What they should be doing is, they should be balancing out the OP supports. They should be balancing out Luna. They should be balancing out Cloak Dagger. They should be balancing out Invis Woman. And these ultimates that you just pop one Q and nobody dies, these kinds of ultimates need to go. I think the best example, the best ultimate in the game right now in terms of balance is Rocket's ultimate. Because that ultimate does not make everyone invulnerable, okay? People can still die inside Rocket ult. Rocket's ult can be countered very easily if people know what they're doing, right? And it gives you that, that small instant of health, that small boost that you need to maybe survive a team fight. It does not make you absolutely broken. It does not make you a god. It does not make you unkillable. But it gives you that small amount of healing that you need to survive in a fight. And I think every healer ult needs to be somewhere like Rocket's ult. They don't need to be broken. They just need to give that small amount of healing, okay, that burst healing that helps the team survive a team fight. But it's not like it's absolutely uncounterable. People are not dying. Now, I'm not saying Luna's ult cannot be countered. You can Iron Man the shit out of Luna, okay? You can do the same with Cloak Dagger. But the thing is, they are much more difficult to counter, and they have too much value compared to someone like Jeff or Adam Warlock or Mantis, right? We cannot buff the other supports. What we can do is we can nerf these healers who are like extremely broken and bring everyone's ult to the level of Rocket. I think that would solve the game's healing problem so much. And what we can do is, I really saw this and I really liked what they did here. They gave Groot the ability to heal with his walls with the Mantis team up. And I think this is really cool. Okay, if tanks also have some sort of team healing, like Iron Fist got his team up, right? He can now heal people with his meditation form or whatever, and Groot can heal people with his walls. If more tanks and more DPS also have some abilities that can heal their teammates or maybe provide like shield to their teammates, then the game can slowly start shifting focus from, totally a support based game to like a mixed team. We can have lots of different kinds of teams. Like we can have 3 tanks, we can have maybe 1 tank who can also self-sustain, who can also heal. Maybe we can go with 1 support and 3 DPS because 1 DPS guy also has an ability to heal the team. That would be kind of nice if everybody gets some sort, at least the tanks get some sort of an ability that helps the team to heal. Then what that will happen is that will reduce the pressure on support players, because right now support players are like the key of the team, and everybody in the enemy team is trying to kill your support players. The support players are on extreme stress position right now. Everyone and their mom is after killing the support players. But if the tanks can also do some part of the healing, then what's going to happen is all these dives, all these DPSs, they'll not just focus on support players, right? They'll also start focusing on tanks as well, because the tank's ability is also keeping the team alive. They need to redistribute these roles, and I think a lot of heroes will need reworking for this to work. But as of right now, what's happening is, they're just pumping out more broken healers, more broken DPS. I don't know. None of the dev teams have said that they're gonna rework anything like this. But mostly what happens is when people don't pick a hero, or when people are like completely banning a hero, it normally goes under the observation of the devs, and then they do something about it. Like, see, BP. Nobody wanted BP buffs. I mean, he didn't get buffs, he got fixed, but nobody wanted that. But because BP was being banned so many times, people were not playing him, they decided to face him. So Marvel Rivals devs, I think they look at the game like this, that whichever hero is not being played, he needs a buff, and they go and buff him. And they're probably gonna buff Jeff, which will probably make the support situation even worse, because then everyone will be relying on supports even more. If you are a Jeff player, this is probably a pretty bad patch for you, okay? Let's look at a few. Yeah, it would be cool if Jeff could copy like Loki, but instead of magic, he gets to eat them like curry. Okay. Also, the most important thing in the game, supports are the most important position. If your team can't match the other team's ult in value, then guess what? This is exactly what's happening, right? People don't want you to pick any other supports. Heck, I'm not even talking about Jeff. People don't want you to pick Adam Warlock. People don't want you to pick Mantis. They don't want you to pick Rocket. They only want you to go Luna, Cloak Dagger, or Loki. They don't want anybody else. And this is such a toxic thing for support players, because imagine you're a support player, you just love playing Jeff. You just cannot pick him now, because people will throw the game, right? And Jeff's situation is like, Jeff is such a hero, you are either super good at him or you are super bad at him. There is no middle ground. And the problem is, in lower elos, you cannot expect anyone to be super good at him. I'm going to give you an example of this guy, Savingly. He is the rank 1 Jeff, and if you guys play Jeff, I would really recommend you guys to watch out his gameplay, okay? Because he is one of the smartest Jeff players out there. As you can see, he is not actively healing his team, but what he's focusing on is melting their enemy backline. See, he just melted the enemy Luna. This is what he's doing with Jeff, basically pre-nerf Jeff. But he found out a way to to make the current Jeff work even in flanks, because you see this water cannon that he's shooting, this still does a lot of damage. This does not do a lot of damage to tanks, but this still does a lot of damage to healers. It still does a lot of damage to DPS. Look at how fast Luna melts. See, instantly melts. Okay, and this guy's playstyle is completely around going in the backline and hitting them. Just look at this. Look at this. Look at him. He's at the back line. He's breaking Rocket's beacon. He's once again attacking Luna. And if the enemy observes him, he stalls for time and then he tries to run. See, this is insane value because the enemy tank is on him. If enemy tank is chasing someone in their back line, that means the enemy team does not have a tank in the front line. This is insane value. But the problem is, people don't play Jeff like him. What people mostly do is, they will just sit with Jeff behind your team and they will keep like streaming water down the lane, okay? And they will keep healing. They'll become an absolute heal bot. Now, the thing is, by doing that, you are not only providing less heals because Jeff inherently heals less than Cloak Dagger or Luna or someone like that, right? And your ult is also not that great of a value. So by being a heal bot, you're not really helping the team. But if you are playing Jeff like this, you are at the enemy backline, you are completely disrupting their backline, right? You are killing their healers. And if your team needs help, if your team is low, you go and heal them, then you will get a lot of value out of Jeff. And this is what this guy does. And he is the rank 1 Jeff right now. I'm gonna show you his guy's channel again. He's called Savingly. If you guys play Jeff, this guy is the one you need to follow. But then again, this playstyle, it absolutely needs you to have 3 healers. Because if you don't have 3 healers, he's a very high rank, right? So he can coordinate and people will adjust. But if you don't have 3 healers with this comp and you are a Jeff and you're sitting in the back line, then your team is going to be stomped in the front line because they don't have enough heals, right? So you need 3 healers for this to work. But if you have 3 healers, then this combination with Jeff is absolutely demonic. And because you are constantly flanking their backline, you're mostly playing Jeff as a flank. You don't have to use your ultimate to protect your team. Instead, you use your ultimate to break enemy team's momentum. You're carrying away both of their tanks from a team fight and your team wins. You're kidnapping their healers and you're taking them away and your team wins. That is how this guy plays Jeff. And he's extremely successful at playing Jeff like this. But the problem is, most low elo players don't know how to play Jeff like this. And this is why I think a lot of low elo players get so much hate on Jeff. Because they don't really know how to play this guy. And others, even if they know that they can play Jeff like this, they're not allowed to pick Jeff because other low rank healers, other low rank Jeff players don't play like this, right? People have trust issues. So they don't trust that you're gonna play Jeff this good. That's the problem. In high elos, look at this. Jeff was banned in the $3 million tournament. This is how broken Jeff can be, because imagine your team is pulling off a really strong combo and an enemy Jeff pops up and he just eats away your tank. He just eats away your healer. Your team is instantly fucked in that position. This guy, this Jeff, is a menace. He can absolutely break entire teams. He can absolutely break momentums. But the problem is low elo players don't know how to use Jeff like this. And even if you know how to play Jeff like this, people have so much trust issue, they're not gonna let you play Jeff. That's the sorry state of Jeff right now. And I think Jeff is not the only one who's getting a lot of hate. Rocket apparently has started receiving hate again. People really hated Rocket in Season 0, which was okay because his ult really didn't do anything. It just buffed damage. But then Rocket got rework and the rework was really good. Now he heals more with his normal attacks and they travel faster. And his ult not only heals, it also gives everyone a fat shield and it also gives them a damage buff. And it recharges pretty fast. And with Penny team up, Rocket, he's pretty strong right now. But the problem is, Rocket is just not as strong as Luna. You know what, guys? You know what? I think the biggest problem in this game is Luna. I think if they remove Luna from the game, probably the game is gonna be so much more, balanced. But Luna is Marvel Rivals' favorite child, right? They're never gonna nerf Luna. They are never going to remove Luna. Luna has not seen a single nerf other than her ult, like the duration. Luna rarely gets nerfed. Look at how much damage Luna can do as a support. That's insane. And they have never nerfed it. Okay, Luna is like the favorite child of Netties. And that's the problem. I think if Luna is out of this game will become so much balanced. What do you guys think? I completely feel like Luna is the one that's ruining the game right now. Rocket? Apparently, people are hating on him because his ult is just not as good as Luna. And also, another thing, people can counter Rocket's ult. But that's the point, right? A hero should be counterable. A hero should not be so broken that it takes a whole ultimate to counter that guy. Okay? It takes a whole team effort to counter that guy. A hero should not be that broken. A hero should be counterable. Rocket has popped his ult. Okay, I'm a Punisher. I can ult and take down that thing. That's balanced. That's balanced. Okay, that's how games should be. That's how heroes should be. They should not be absolutely broken and brain dead. But Rocket is being bullied and Rocket is being hated on because he's balanced, which is crazy. Which is just crazy to me. People are hating on a balanced hero. You know what? Rocket team up. Rocket team up which Rocket got recently, people say it's OP, but I think that is pretty stupid for Rocket. It's really good for Penny. And the problem is Penny is banned almost every game in low elo. The team up is not really good for Rocket. You don't want to place your beacon in a place where the enemies can see you, right? So you're normally gonna hide your beacon somewhere behind your team or inside some building or on the top of some building, right? You're gonna hide that beacon. And that beacon spawning nest is just absolutely useless because it's gonna stay hidden 24/7. So what's the point of that beacon even spawning nest? I don't understand that team. I completely don't understand. And another thing that Marvel Rivals devs did really stupid is just when Rocket was receiving some support from the people, when people were kind of liking Rocket, they released Phoenix. This is completely beyond me why Marvel Rivals devs try to release heroes that directly counter other heroes. Why can't they just rework the previous heroes? And Rocket was not even broken. I don't think Rocket needed a hard counter like Phoenix, right? They could have made Phoenix like Phoenix counters Luna ult completely. You use Phoenix ult, Luna ult disappears. Something like that. That would make more sense because Luna's ult was absolutely broken. But Rocket's ult was never broken. I don't know why they decided to release a complete hero whose entire role is demolishing Rocket's ultimate and demolishing Rocket's beacons. I don't understand. Rocket was completely balanced. He was not broken. People were enjoying playing him. He was finally getting some love. And then they decided to go ahead and release a hero that absolutely counters Rocket. I think Rocket has the hardest counter in the whole game. No other hero has such huge counter. People can say Cloak Dagger can be countered by Magneto and Iron Man, but it's not that easy. Okay, it's not that easy. If your team has a mag, they can bubble Cloak Dagger and Cloak Dagger will be safe from mag and Iron Man, right? Cloak can also go invisible, like go in the shadows after using her ult and be safe. And obviously, it's not very easy to hit Cloak Dagger all the time with Magneto, right? It's like say 60-70% chance that you get it correctly and she dies. But with Rocket, as soon as Rocket pops ult, you just pop a Phoenix ult. It's absolutely brain dead. It's gonna hit 100% of the time. It's very difficult to hit Phoenix in her ultimate. Mostly people don't hit her, right? And if you are behind the enemy, then they'll obviously not hit you. And 100% of the time, you're just gonna demolish Rocket ult. It will be gone. In 1 second, it will be gone. And that is what happens right now. As soon as I pop Rocket ult, instantly within 1 second, enemy Phoenix is ulting on me and the ult is gone. It's become just as useless as it was in patch 1. In fact, I think it's become even more useless because in patch 0, at least it used to give damage buff. Now the ult itself is gone. Like, what's the point of the ult at that point? It's useless. And that's the problem. I don't know why they decided to nerf Rocket right now. He really didn't need a nerf. But they intentionally decided to nerf Rocket, and then they just left Luna and they just left Cloak Dagger to do whatever they want to do. Yeah, the situation is pretty bad. If you guys play Jeff or if you guys play Rocket, I want you guys to comment what are you facing in the game right now. Okay, what's your experience? Are people even allowing you to play Jeff? Because I'll be completely honest with you. I personally like Jeff, but I don't want a Jeff on my team. Especially if we have only 2 healers and one of them is Jeff. If we have 3 healers, I'm completely fine. I am completely fine. I'm rooting for a Jeff. In fact, I prefer having Jeff as a 3rd healer on my team than Ultron. Because Jeff's ult as a 3rd healer, I feel like it's more useful than Ultron. Ultron's ult is, I don't know, that's just another next level garbage. But yeah, I feel like Jeff's ultimate has more value than Ultron's ultimate. But as of right now, I don't want Jeff as my 2nd healer. I know a lot of people may find this offensive, but that's the truth. Unless and until they nerf Luna and they nerf Cloak Dagger and then they nerf all these broken healer patches, Jeff is just gonna stay like this. And I feel like a few heroes like Jeff, Rocket, Mantis, Adam Warlock right now, these guys are very balanced. I don't think they need to touch these heroes. I don't think they should buff these heroes. Jeff does not need a buff. What needs to happen is Luna needs to get a nerf. Luna needs to come down to the level of Jeff. Luna needs to come down to the level of Rocket. then I guess this whole, this support meta will finally start to stabilize. People will stop picking 3 supports like retards because it's absolutely annoying. 3 support is so annoying. Nobody fucking dies. I just hate this meta, guys. I completely hate this meta. It's making me feel like I have to quit this game this season because it's so unplayable. Every game has 3 healers. So unplayable. I hope Marvel Rivals devs nerf these broken healers. Jeff does not need a buff. Jeff is completely fine. I think Jeff is very fun right now to play with his whole water beam thing. It's very fun. I don't want Jeff to be nerfed or Jeff to be buffed. Jeff is completely fine. I want them to nerf these broken healers. And let me know down in the comments what is your experience playing healers this patch. If you are a healer player, what healers are you being forced to play, right? What elo are you in, and what's like the current situation you're facing right now? Probably, like, it's completely stupid. People in gold are complaining about Jeff, bro. In gold. That's insane. But yeah, that's the situation. Let me know down in the comments about your experience, and I'll see you guys in the next video.